Hello and good afternoon, family. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you guys who are tuned into this video right now or whenever that it finds you in divine timing. I pray that you guys are having a wonderful and blessed day so far. If this is your first time visiting my channel, my name is Jasmine. Thank you so much for being here. If you are a returning subscriber or you are a returning viewer, I would like to also take this time to thank you and welcome you back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to be having a very impromptu conversation about generational cycles and karmic patterns. Now, in my introduction video or my channel introduction video, which is also on the channel, I was talking about how my channel and the content that I share on my channel is dedicated to individuals who are prioritizing healing of traumatic wounds, who are prioritizing healing from unresolved trauma, who are prioritizing a relationship with your higher power, a deeper relationship with yourself, individuals who want to break free from limiting thoughts, who want to break free from belief systems and from emotional patterns and from spiritual illnesses or imbalances that keep you from being able to live your life from an authentic space and cultivate authentic relationships and, other things that you desire to bring joy into your life. So with that being said, this video is for anyone who is actively breaking cycles in your life, breaking cycles in your family, breaking cycles in your community, or you have the desire to do these things. If you even have the desire to break cycles in your life, to break cycles that have been passed down in your family so that these things do not continue to trigger down into your children and your great grandchildren and, just all of the people who will come after you and, in the community and in other places as well. Like you want to be a part of dismantling belief systems and patterns that create negative experiences in life and in the world or whatever the case may be. So with that being said, the first point that we are going to get into is what are generational cycles or karmic patterns and why is it so important that we address these things? So generational cycles or karmic patterns are toxic beliefs, toxic patterns, toxic habits that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation to generation. Now, for some people, addiction is passed down. For some people, poverty is passed down. For some people, is dysfunctional interactions within family related things and romantic related things and maybe just people, period. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, these are examples of generational cycles or karmic patterns. And these things have to be addressed because they just create a negative impact on your life experience. If you have trauma, excuse me, I was smoking. If you have unresolved trauma around money, if you have unresolved trauma around relationships, if you have unresolved trauma around success and prosperity and wealth, if you have karmic patterns or generational cycles dealing with yourself, dealing with the way you look at yourself, your self-identity and the way you express yourself and things of that nature, then you have to address it. I feel like I'm high and I'm losing my thought. That's what it feels like. But that's why it must be addressed, because it creates a negative impact on your life experiences. And what I just said. So going forward, what is your role in the process of breaking generational cycles and karmic patterns as a light bearer or as a cycle breaker. Your role in this process is to bring awareness to the dysfunction and to the chaos and to the toxicity and to the cycles and to the patterns that have been plaguing your family for eons and eons, okay? You have to be the one to address these things. And a lot of times, being the light bearer or being the cycle breaker in your family, in your families or in your friendships or in the workspace or whatever the case may be, you were placed on this earth to shake things up. You were placed on this earth to shake up the dynamics. You were placed here to shake up the foundation because, you know, like I said, these cycles and these karmic patterns, we all have them. We all have them. We all have them. And not only do we hurt ourselves by continuing to carry on with these patterns, we hurt other people. We hurt our relationships. We hurt our ability to create success and to maintain success and all kinds of other different things like that. So your role as a cycle breaker or as a light bearer or as a black sheep is to step on toes and to bring awareness about childhood trauma, to shed awareness about what else, you know, poverty consciousness, and, you know, to just bring up that awareness about the dysfunction that you see going on. Many people in our families and in our friendships and just the world period would rather just sweep things under the rug and just to act like the shit never happened, the trauma never happened, the pain never happened, you know, the abuse never happened, the abandonment never happened. You know, they would rather just, you know, push these things under the rug. You know, I grew up in a household like that and in a family like that, where getting into it, what are some types of generational cycles? Some generational cycles look like, what was I just talking about? I was talking about how, maybe it was relational dynamics, family interactions. No, it was coping mechanisms, right? I was raised in a household and I grew up in a family where one of our generational cycles when it comes to coping mechanisms is avoidance. My father in particular, I love him so much, but he is the type of person, and I may even be the type of person too, where I would rather avoid a situation that could potentially stress me out or cause me anxiety or just anything like that, versus developing the emotional maturity and all of these things like that and all of these skills like that. I would rather just avoid it altogether. I'd rather just cut you off. I'd rather just, you know, not, you know, really deal with the situation. I'd rather just avoid it altogether, cut it off altogether. That is a generational cycle, and it is not the most positive generational cycle that you want to have in your life. It is something that definitely must be healed. So, you know, your role is to bring awareness to the dysfunction, to the chaos that is disrupting our families, that's disrupting our friendships, our relationships, our ability to create success and to maintain success, to create stability and security for ourselves and maintain that security and that stability. You know, our self-worth and our self-esteem, the way we look at ourselves, the way we perceive ourselves, you know what I'm saying, the way we feel about ourselves, all these different things like that. What are some types of generational cycles, emotional patterns, recurring emotional responses? Now, it's normal to feel anxious. It's normal to feel anger. It's normal to feel sadness. It's normal to feel these things. But when it is like you are persistently feeling these things, you are living in these emotions, you know, that is when we will say that it is a emotional pattern. And that's when we can get into like mental illness. Some families pass down mental illness, such as bipolar disorder or multiple personality disorder. They tried to diagnose me with that at one point in time in my life. Multiple personality disorder. You know, but all these things, post-traumatic stress disorder, depression, you know, whatever mental illness that you can think of, that is what we would call an emotional pattern. Maybe you grew up in a family where mental illnesses are passed down. Oh, you know what I'm saying? These things have to be healed. Belief systems are a form of a generational cycle or a karmic pattern. Core beliefs about your self-worth, relationships, and success. if you were raised in a household, you grew up in a family where the core beliefs about, self-worth is that you don't have any self-worth, you don't feel like you're worthy of anything, then, that will carry on into your adult life. And you may settle for things that are not worth your time, that are not worth your energy, because of the simple fact that when you were a kid, you grew up around people who told you that you were not good enough, that you were not pretty enough, that you were not smart enough, that you didn't have enough of this and that you didn't have enough of that. And you know what I'm saying? Made you feel codependent, made you feel like, like, your self-esteem was low. It lowered your self-worth. It lowered your self-esteem because and it's like, even if people weren't saying these things directly to you, if you were around people, your mother, your father, your auntie, your grandma, whatever, I watched all of the women in my life settle. Don't shoot the messenger. I had to be truthful about shit in order to bring healing into my life, because it got to a point in my life where I kept realizing that I kept attracting the same toxic guys, and I kept attracting relationships that really didn't make me happy, but I was settling because that's the best that I felt like I could do. Those things stemmed from watching my mother settle, you know what I'm saying? And I started adopting those beliefs and those behaviors at a young age. You know what I'm saying? So belief systems around your self-worth and around your self-esteem and relationships. You know what I'm saying? If you've seen your mother settle in relationships and she settled in friendships, you know what I'm saying? Or you watched whoever settle in a certain job and they really weren't happy there. All these different things like that. Relationships, settling with relationships in our jobs, settling with relationships with romantic involved, just settling in family relationships that are not good for you. When you have a core belief that you have to settle, when you have the core belief that you have to settle, and that what you feel in your heart and what you want for yourself doesn't matter, that you're not good enough, that you're not smart enough, that you're not pretty enough, that you're not whatever to have what you want, that is a core belief that will impact your experiences and the type of things that you manifest and attract for yourself, the quality of that thing. All right. And then going back to the coping mechanisms, avoidance is a coping mechanism. Like I said, I watched my father avoid arguments with my mother. He would argue for a little bit, but then he just shut it down like, all right, whatever, I'm out this bitch. He'd pack his bags, honey, and he'd be right out the door, honey. I didn't really see him handle things. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see my mom and dad communicate and actually talk about the problem, talk about the action that we're going to take against this problem, and then a solution. It was just always ending in them going their separate, my dad leaving, going his separate way, my mom going into her room, you know what I'm saying, sulking and things of that nature. I watched everyone in my family do that. Avoid the real issue of what's going on because nobody wants to deal with the real issue. Everybody would just rather cover it up, give these fake ass apologies and all this thing like that, come back together again acting like shit ain't never happened. That shit is weird, and I'm the black sheep. I'm the cycle breaker that has called that shit out. And my life has been hard as fuck. Not because, yes, I've made choices in my life, but still at the end of the day, my intention was to break cycles in my life so that my children don't have to bear these same burdens and things like that. And because I want my lineage to be free, I'm not just healing from myself. I'm healing from my kids. I'm healing from my mother, from my grandmothers, from my grandfathers. I'm healing from my lineage, okay? Because I'm the one that got to God be the glory, coming to the awareness that this is some dysfunctional ass shit. And I'm not going to be the child or the adult that just keeps hush hush because I want to keep the peace. Fuck that shit, because what about my peace? What about my peace? I grew up suppressing my emotions. I grew up suppressing my thoughts. I grew up chasing boys from the age of about 12 years old. I was chasing these niggas. I was fighting bitches about these niggas. 11, 12, 13 years old, ready to commit suicide over niggas. 14, 15 years old, ready to commit suicide because a nigga ain't texting me back, or because maybe he is texting me back, but I still feel like he don't want me. He don't really like me because I got self-worth issues. All these things get passed down. All these things get passed down, okay? And so then we got cultural or societal conditioning, values or limitations imposed by societal structures that affect how generations view success, opportunity, or self-expression. Most of our parents and grandparents and things like that, they grew up, and then even our ancestors that we don't even know about, they grew up in slavery and all these different things like that. So, with the things that they were going through, and not even that far back, with our grandparents and our great grandparents, they worked in a time where they believed that, you got to work hard. Most millennials do not really fuck with that working hard thing. Like, working intentional, we can work intentionally, yes, but working hard, staying at jobs that I really don't enjoy just because I need some money, just because I need to pay this rent, you know what I'm saying? Views on marriage and, religion, all these things can affect the way that you show up in these different aspects in your life when you become an adult. You know what I'm saying? If you grew up hearing stuff like money grows on trees and money is, hard to get, or you watch your parents struggle to pay the bills, and, or you just heard them, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't got it, you know what I'm saying? Or just anything like that, like, that creates a poverty consciousness. And when you grow up, you realize that you have a hard time managing your money. You have a hard time holding on to money. You have a hard time saving and investing money. You have a hard time putting your money towards the things that will really elevate you in life, because you have a poverty consciousness. And when you have a poverty consciousness, when you have these conscious feelings and thoughts that are rooted in fear and rooted in abandonment and rooted in low self-worth and things like that, it will affect you on a negative level in every aspect of your life. And as a cycle breaker, you have to talk about the things that I am talking about, because these are the things that are going to set not only us free, but I'm not even going to say set our family members free or set our friends free. It's going to set free whoever wants to be set free, because maybe you can resonate with this, but I'm the only one in my family, the black sheep. I'm the only one in my family who is on this type of time. I be talking to my dad about this. I be trying to talk to my mom about this. I be trying to talk to everybody about this. You know what I'm saying? But, they're really not open, you know what I'm saying, to it, you know what I'm saying? And I kind of just got to a place where I really don't say anything, because they are so used to carrying on in the way that they have carried on, not respecting each other, not knowing how to effectively communicate with each other with respect and with love, not really knowing how to, respect each other's boundaries, you know what I'm saying? And just all these different types of things like that, you know what I'm saying? So for the most part, I stay away. I stay away. I am that family member or that child that grew up to be the family member that's distant, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm not with that dysfunctional shit. And I have personally had to do too much healing. I had to overcome so many painful things. I had to put my big girl panties on and just be accountable for the role that I could play in my healing. It got to a point where I was so broken, y'all, so broken. And, I wanted to continue to blame my mother, and I wanted to continue to blame my father. I wanted to continue to blame my baby daddy. I wanted to blame the people who had hurt me for why I was the way that I was. But, I landed in a psychiatric ward. My daughter was 4 months old. September the 24th, 2016, I was in the psychiatric ward. Had lost my mind over her father. But through years of therapy and going to counseling and things like that, I learned that it wasn't even that. It was the fact that I had generational cycles and karmic patterns operating in my life. All I watched was people in my life not respect each other, not give each other the love and the respect that they learned that they deserve. Nobody in my family was happy about being married. Nobody. I didn't see them in happy marriages. And, they didn't make, and when I be like, well, I want to get married, I can't wait I get married, I can't wait till I get married, they be like, ooh, girl, it's not all it's cracked up to be. When you hear stuff like that, you grow up afraid of love. You grow up not wanting to be vulnerable. And that's what happened to me. All these different cycles and karmic patterns, everything that I had ingested as a child and experienced as a child and watched as I was growing up, that is what I was operating from, a space of trauma. I was operating from my wounds. I was operating from my trauma. And I had to allow myself to step into the awareness that this is what was going on. And it was so painful. It was so painful. And it was even more painful that I had to do it alone. My baby daddy didn't want to change. My dad didn't want to change. Nobody really wanted to take the healing journey seriously. So I had to do it on my own. I had to just cut people off one by one to protect my peace, to protect my inner child, to protect my future, the future of my kids. It's been a lonely tough ass journey for me, but I'm still here. I'm still here, and I'm so grateful that I'm able to share everything that I've just shared with all of you guys. You know, I'm grateful for my journey. I'm grateful for all the things that I'm doing right now. I didn't think that I was ever going to heal from the things that I had to heal from, but here I am. Here I am healing and becoming more and more aware of myself and aware of my purpose and my destiny, and, you know, little by little making intentional steps towards the life that I want to cultivate for myself and for my children. And that feels good. So shout out to all of the black sheeps. Shout out to all of the cycle breakers. Shout out to all of the light bearers. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. This is an interactive space. This is a safe space. The comment section is open. If you have anything that you would like to say, any feedback that you would like to throw out there, the floor is yours. I'm going to go ahead and end this video because we're going over the 20-minute mark now, and I don't want to hold you guys too long. But if you've been here from the beginning of this video to the end of this video, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I do hope that you subscribe to the channel, but I'm not here to pressure anyone into doing anything. Thank you for just being here. Thank you for just showing up. You subscribe or whatever the case may do when you feel like it. So until next time, I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.